Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Shoemaker and I'm the instructor for this chemistry class. I wanted to give you a personal tour of our Blackboard page for the course to hopefully get ahead of your questions. So this is the home page. I will put this in student view. So this is the current landing page. We start the class, the Welcome Start Here page. And I have a to-do list. Now I've been emailing you in the prior week about a lot of these things, so you might have already done some of them. The most important thing, of course, is to get your lab kit. It looks something like this. Packaged it like a gift basket. You will also need to purchase a couple of ingredients. You need a bottle of vinegar. White vinegar is best, easiest, but you could use red wine vinegar, white wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar. The type of vinegar is not particularly important. And then also you need a bottle of hydrogen peroxide. So the 3% solution is what's standard at drugstores and whatnot. Next thing that you need to do is make sure that you have downloaded and read through the syllabus. So I have a lot of redundancy built into this Blackboard page, so you can click here and open the syllabus here or download it. You can also access it here under the syllabus link here where I have it embedded and you can kind of scroll through it, which is what I'm going to do right now. So this is all just details about the class. The textbook is online. It's free. It's an open access textbook and you can link to it actually from here in the web page. So OpenStax textbook and a periodic table are accessible here. This is hyperlinked. If you click on the orange, picture box here, also this is hyperlinked and it will take you, if I go to, I'm going to open it in a new tab. Oh no, that didn't work, did it? So maybe that isn't hyperlinked. No, it is. It's just not really working. So here's the online textbook. You can view the table of contents. You can download it as an app so you can read it on mobile devices. You can download the PDF and you can print it, or you can order a printed copy. There's a variety of options. There's also an option to download the Kindle version if you're a Kindle user. So back to our syllabus here. The other thing that we're using for the class, the homework platform is called Active Learning, AKTIV, and that is the only part of the class where there is a charge. So your lab kits I put together for free. You will be responsible for getting them back to me, shipping them back or delivering them back at the end of the semester. So there might be a cost associated with that. And then the cost for the homework software is about $40. But it is 25% of your grade, so it's a big chunk there. This just goes through the course objectives, the learning objectives. I also have some suggested materials, basically binders and things to keep notes organized. Now, I do intend for you to print things. You don't have to. You could write them by hand, the notes in the lab. But it's easier, I think, if you have access to a printer. Now, everything is preloaded into the course, so if you wanted to just go to a library one day and print off all of the materials, you could if you don't have access to a printer at home. This is just a page all about internet access. You need to be checking your NCCC edu email address regularly. That is how I will officially communicate with you. Remind is a messaging app that you can download on your phone, and I really encourage you to. I often communicate with students that way, especially in the summer when a lot of us don't really want to be tied to our email, but we respond more easily to text messages. This is an app that allows us to text without actually sharing phone numbers, so it has that element of privacy. And then, of course, Blackboard, where we are right now, this website here. I have a little blurb about email etiquette, just to make sure that you are using polite and formal language in your email communications, not just with me, but with in any professional situation. And then this is sort of the most flipped to page of the syllabus, which is the grade breakdown. So half of your grade is based on your tests, and we'll talk about tests in a minute. A quarter of the grade is based on homework, which is completed online through Active, and I'll get to that. You'll also be taking notes in this class. So I have recorded lectures and in which I go through guided handwritten notes. And in order to ensure that you are watching those lectures and taking those notes, you will upload pictures of your notes for a small grade. And then the labs are the other 20% of the grade. So there's a brief blurb about each of these categories. You'll also notice my late policy is mentioned in here. So basically, I don't give extensions. I will accept late work, but for a penalty. This class being only 6 weeks long, it's super short. It's really important. I set the deadlines that I did to try to evenly space out the work so that you can keep up and not get behind. You can fall behind very, very quickly in this class. So I strongly encourage you not to get behind. But as I like to say, better late than never, so I will always accept late work, but for a penalty. And it's a blanket 20% penalty. So whether it's 1 minute late or 1 week late, it's going to be a 20% penalty. So try to be on time for full credit. And that's for notes, for homework, and for labs. The tests and all of these things, the notes, the homework, the labs, these are all front-loaded in the course. If we go here to the homework tab, I'll actually start with the lectures tab. Okay, these are all of the lecture notes that you can download and print. And these are all of the corresponding videos of me going through those notes. So you will print these, you'll fill them out, or you'll just write them entirely by hand. And then you will submit them here. These are each a separate assignment for submitting each of those notes. So in order to submit an assignment, you have to click on the assignment title. So you would click on this, and then it would bring you to the submission page where you would submit pictures of your notes for Chapter 1. All of those are here. You could do those all on the first day if you were a masochist and you wanted to do that to yourself. Homework, same thing. So this is the link, just a little blurb about homework and a link. I'm going to open in a new tab over here to the Active Learning website. And you'll need to follow the registration instructions. If you haven't already done that, the registration instructions are part of the to-do list to register for active learning. Follow these instructions. And then once you're in, you'll click on this homework tab here. Everything's in the homework. And this is displaying, I wonder if I can do here, view as a student. So this is what you would see. And you got to click on the homework tab because everything is under homework. So I guess the home page, it brings you to class. Click on homework and you'll see all of these different homeworks are already loaded in here. Again, you could do them all the first week if you wanted to, if you were some kind of superhuman masochist. So you can get ahead. The key is to try not to get behind. The labs also are front loaded. So all of the labs are actually here. They're just invisible to you right now. Because you first need to complete these lab agreements. So the lab agreements are, there's some things about lab safety, and you're signing a promissory statement to return all of the lab kit materials at the end of the semester or we'll charge you. So once you have agreed to these lab agreements, you've read those, then all the labs will magically appear in this list here. So they're also all front-loaded. You could potentially do them ahead of time. Tests and one-on-one meetings, though, these are the things that are on designated days. So I'm just going back here to our welcome page, keep going down this to-do list. You've read the syllabus, you registered for the online homework, you've downloaded the Remind app and send me a message, like send me a picture of something, either you or your pet or like a funny chemistry meme. Those are all fun things to get. And then the other part of the class is that it's very hard to learn chemistry online, and it's very hard for me as an educator to teach online and not have any really direct contact with students. And so what I found really enhances the class is doing these one-on-one weekly sessions. They're maybe 20 or 30 minutes, And it's just a check-in. It's an opportunity. It's like an office hours, but it's a mandatory office hour. So it's a time for us to check in, for me to, for you to ask me your questions about the material, or about the course in general, and also for me to kind of ask you some questions and do some informal assessment of where you're at and what you're struggling with, and to offer some help. So Wednesday is the day that I have designated as our one-on-one meeting day. This is a link to my bookings calendar, so you can click on it and you can sign up for a time slot for each Wednesday of the course. These are mandatory. While they are not, if you look in the syllabus, I'll bring you back to the syllabus here. While the PI doesn't include these weekly one-on-one meetings, all right, they are part of your grade in the sense that for each one that you miss, you'll receive a 5-point grade deduction in the class. So there's a total of 6. So if you did all the tests and all the homework and all the labs and everything, and you got hundreds on everything, but you didn't come to a single one-on-one meeting, the highest grade you could get in the class is a 70, which is not considering, I don't think that's considered passing for transfer credit. I think you need a 73, a C, in order to transfer to other colleges. So to try to stress the importance of making those meetings. Now I can be flexible with the meetings if you have something come up. You can send me a message and remind. It's important to me that we have these meetings, that we have 6 of them. Wednesday is a day that's easy for me to block out of my schedule, but if it's impossible for you, we can work something. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me about any of this stuff. On this last page are some, various academic policies, lab policies about returning our equipment and making sure that you're behaving safely, even though you're doing your labs at home, and they're all remarkably safe. If you have accommodations and you need extended time, let me know. Though I don't usually set much of a time limit on tests. It will not be a timed test. You'll have a 24-hour period to take and turn in your tests. Academic integrity is there's a link here to the college's policy on academic integrity, plagiarism, and cheating. So make sure you check that out. It's a very serious violation and will be grounds for failing the course if students are caught cheating. I try to build in things into the test in the class that makes it difficult to do so, so you can't accidentally get in trouble for it. Then we also have our Title IX statement, which I think is maybe a little bit, there's a lot less interpersonal communication in an online course, but if you ever at any point feel uncomfortable or discriminated against, please let me know, both in any capacity. And then I always include this instructor's academic rate. I can change things in the syllabus if I see fit. I often do not, though. It's very rare that I do. The last piece here is also built into Blackboard, and this is, I call it the What's Due When calendar. And it's a calendar of all of the due dates, and you'll notice there are lots of them. They are broken up in order to try to pace you through the material and through the assignments. You are more than welcome to just pick one day of the week and sit down on Saturday and just do everything that's due for the upcoming week. That's up to you how you want to time manage, but these are these when things are due by. Doesn't mean you have to do them on that day. You can do them ahead of time. It's just the day that they're due by. I tend to, as a student, be much more lecture dependent. I'm much more dependent on what my teachers are explaining to me in their lectures. And so I kind of encourage my students to be that way as well, but that's not right for everyone. The reading is really helpful, but it's really, I think of it as supplementary. So focus on what we're doing in lecture and what we're doing in homework. There's often additional information in the textbook, but it can be a really good resource. So just to help you pace yourself as you're trying to prepare and keep up with the class, this is sort of the schedule that we're keeping in terms of readings in the textbook. And then this is something I decided to make last year, a suggested workload and an explanation of summer course expectations. This is an intense class. general chemistry is an intense class in a full semester, and you are taking it in a third of the time. So it should take you sort of 3 times the amount of, will be spending 3 times the amount of time per day that you would during a regular semester, in a way. The general format for college classes, if a class is 3 credits, you're expected to spend 9 to 12 hours a week outside of class studying and reading and doing homework assignments. And so based on that, my expectation for you all is that you will be spending about 20 to 30 hours a week on this course, doing the reading, doing the homework, doing the lecture notes, doing the labs. And that is the expectation. So if you are expecting to spend a lot less than that, you might find yourself in trouble. But I just like to be upfront about that. Some people can get away with spending less than that, especially if this is a repeat class for you and you've taken chemistry before. But this is just a sort of sample schedule that I laid out. Like if I was a student, this is how I might manage my time. It's best to chunk it and do it a little bit every day. I know I said before it's fine if you want to sit down on Saturday and do all the work for the week. But again, unless you have an extensive background in chemistry and you're repeating this class because maybe you took it 10 years ago and you need the credit, it's going to be very difficult to learn at a pace like that. You really need to space it out, do a little bit every day. So this is sort of a sample of time management for the first couple of weeks. So that is the syllabus. And that's everything in the welcome to-do list. Once you've done that, you're ready to jump in. You're ready to actually get started on this class. And I'm going to change the landing page for the class so that this is the home page. And this calendar, sort of the master calendar for the class, this is what is due when. So Monday, you're really just getting yourself oriented and maybe starting to work through some of the materials. By Tuesday, I expect you to complete the lab agreements. That will take you, I don't know, maybe an hour tops, just reading through lab safety stuff, watching a couple of lab safety videos, very quick. On Wednesday, the first chapter notes are due, and also we'll have our first one-on-one. You'll notice that this calendar everything on here is hyperlinked. So the lab agreements, if you click on it, it will take you to the same place that this link right here, the labs link, takes you to. And if you click on chapter 1 notes, it takes you here to the lecture notes and videos page. So basically, you'll land here, you'll see what it is you need to accomplish for the day or for tomorrow, and then you'll click over here to access those things. The one-on-one meetings will take place virtually, they're not in person. So we'll click here, and once you guys have all signed up for the times that you're going to meet, I will list them here so everyone can see what times are taken. So if you need to change your time, you kind of have an idea of what the schedule is. So I will list it here. And we will meet in this Zoom room here. So you'll just click on this link and it'll take you to the Zoom room at our designated time. So tests, the last thing I guess here is the tests. So tests are going to be a combination of question styles. Some will be multiple choice, some will be a numerical answer that you type in the numerical answer. Some of them you'll need to show your work, you'll need to do it on paper and then take a picture and upload the image as the answer. So they will be built into Blackboard, and they will be available for a 24-hour period when they're open. But you do actually have a time limit. I misspoke earlier. So you have 2.5 hours once you begin the test to finish it, and that includes uploading those pictures. If you have accommodations, you need to let me know so I can give you extended time. But so once you begin, it's the clock starts ticking. So you cannot like log out and come back in. It won't stop the timer, it starts, and you have to submit. If you exit, then it'll submit it automatically for you. You are allowed to use your notes. This is an open note environment, but you're not allowed to use the internet. You're not allowed to search the textbook or search Google. And I do make questions intentionally on tests that a lot of times if you try to Google the answer, it will give you the wrong answer. I really try to discourage people from trusting Google. It's really not a trustworthy resource. So also, for every test, you're welcome to use these key equations and sort of like an equation cheat sheet and a periodic table of elements. And then if you have extra time beyond the homework and you want to practice additional problems, you can access this document here, which lists different problems in the online textbook that you can use to practice with. And this document here is a bunch of different YouTube videos. I'll open it, that I've sort of assembled over the years of really good sort of YouTube tutors. They're quick and short, so if there's any specific topic that you're really struggling with, like significant figures, and you didn't understand the way I explained it, you need to see how somebody else explains it, just come here and check out some of these YouTube videos for an alternative, possibly better explanation. I also have here some various help resources for you. Here's another link to that the helpful YouTube videos that I just showed you, and extra study problems in the ChemStacks exercises. So I try to build in some redundancy here so you should always be able to find things that you need because they're in multiple places. So it's here under tests to remind you when you're studying for a test, maybe you want to check out these resources. Or if you're just struggling in the middle of the week and you need help, you can find those things here. We also have tutoring services at North Country that you can sign up for. You can always contact me and just click email instructor. As a North Country student, you have access to counseling, mental health counseling services that I always encourage students to take advantage of. I love mental health counseling. I consider it life coaching. I encourage students to take advantage of that. And then, of course, when you start getting some grades, you'll want to keep track of those under this Grades tab here. So, of course, there's nothing in here yet. What you'll see at the top, your weighted total, that is your grade for the class. So that is calculating, 50% of the grades from tests, 25 from homework, so on and so forth. I also have listed here your averages in each category, and this is really helpful for sort of eyeballing where it is you are missing things and that you need to improve. So if your homework average is really low, then you need to lift that up. If your test average is really low, that's where you need to improve. And then all of the individual assignments will be listed down here. So if it has a dash out of 100, that means it hasn't been graded. Nothing has been submitted. But the grades will show up here for each assignment. And that, I believe, is everything. If you want to know more about me, you can click Meet the Instructor here. But otherwise, I think that was a full tour of the class. So, if you have any questions, send me a remind message or an email, but I prefer remind. And welcome and good luck.